Yes, yes. Welcome to a special episode of Stuff About Sports / JT and the Don, featuring the GOAT, Dwayne Marcus. We're doing a joint show because we're busy, and instead of just doing two separate shows, we decided to combine forces like Voltron. So you are getting JT and the Don and Stuff About Sports tonight. This is March 9th, guys. Next weekend is the final daylight savings time. Spring ahead. Get ready. Okay. We're here, 9 p.m. Everything's happening. JT is here. Bird is here. The Don is here. The GOAT is here. Gentlemen, good evening.
What's up, man?
What's up, man?
Good evenings.
So we want to go ahead and get started and get to the hating. Bert's Guy, Vanilla Vic, White Velvet, Josh Allen Jr., Danny Dimes, Danny Brasco. I don't know. Somebody give him to me.
Well, don't go that far.
Hey, 4 years, 160.
Mhm.
Now, I was going to let the diabolical hater JT start, but Bert, you are a Giants fan. You are a resident Giants fan. I will let you get your shit off because this is a great day for Giants fandom, I think.
I got to be honest with you. I think, too, because I don't know what Giant fans were expecting. Did we want to let him walk and hit the market just to come crawling back? And if he found something out there, what were our options? And not for nothing, as much as it's big money for someone who just produced last year alone, when he finally had a solid head coach that built a system around him, he's starting to prove himself more. Now, it sucks that he had to wait out his entire rookie contract to do it. So now we had to pay him. But the contract, for all intent and purpose, isn't terrible. It is, I would say, more team friendly because I know the main goal this season was to try to keep Daniel Jones, but also sign Saquon too. So for me, I mean, I'll say best case scenario if he continues to grow next year. One of the best parts about this deal is that for 2 years, we have the option to just, say, see ya. We're good. I mean, he's only guaranteed what, 46,
82.
86. So I mean, look, it is what it is. This is just the market for QBs right now. No matter what, who we were going to get, a Daniel Jones like or another, we were going to have to pay for it. And you see that in the likes of a Derrick Carr, who, by the way, has a worse playoff record than Daniel Jones does. So, I mean, for me, I'm all for it, to be completely honest with you.
All right, diabolical hater, go ahead.
What's the question? What do you want me to say?
Oh,
Listen,
what do you want? Because I feel like it's a setup right now. Like,
it's not.
Are you asking me? Do I think it's a good deal? Does he deserve it? Like,
okay,
be more direct.
Daniel Jones getting
what about it?
4 years, 160. Was that deal the right move?
I mean, for the Giants, I mean, it wasn't terrible. I'll say that. I mean, at least he's trash. You got him in that white Tyrod Taylor. Congratulations. And they always it's a deal with the devil you know than the devil you don't know, because you could draft a guy, he could not be good. So at least what you're going to get from him, all 3,000 yards and 15 touchdowns of them. So congratulations. I don't have a problem with the deal because it's always about the guaranteed money. So he basically got the same guaranteed money that Kirk Cousins got like 3 years ago. So I really can't hate him on that. Like, he didn't reset the market or anything like that. So they didn't do anything too crazy. It's just the principle, and we'll talk about that at some point later on this show. It's like he didn't have to struggle for anything. And what did he accomplish? Like, imagine if a quarterback in his contract year threw for 3,000 yards for the first time in his career. He was trash his entire career. And his saving grace that everybody's clinging on to is he threw 15 touchdowns and his team won some games. Like what are we doing? Like, are we just giving that person their flowers now? Because if that's the case, we can just give flowers to XFL quarterbacks. Like, I don't want to overhype it, but I'm not going to completely crap on the deal because I think it was smart by the Giants financially. There you go. You happy now?
Not really, Don.
Don't worry, I'll put him in his place, and then you can clean up.
And that's why you're below me,
Germ. So, yeah, because to make you feel good, to bring you on the show. Listen, the initial. Hey, thanks. There we go. Germ knows what's up. The initial reaction was like, man, that's a terrible deal. What are the Giants doing? 4 years, $160 million. But when you look at why they did it, it actually ended up being a good business move for them. It lowers the cap this season because if not, they would have franchise tagged him. So they lowered the cap this season and upcoming seasons. And by doing that, they could then put Saquon Barkley on the franchise tag, which JT knows I would tag really good running backs until the end, until I can't do it anymore. So
say your slogan. Say your slogan. Don't hide behind it. What's your slogan when it comes to the franchise tag? Don't be shy because you're on live show now. Say it. Go ahead.
Tag them to the end.
No, that's not it.
What do I say?
Tag them until they die.
There you go. So you you allow them to use the tag on Barkley so he doesn't walk. Jones doesn't walk. And then when you look at Jones, JT only pulls out the facts and the stats that he doesn't like, that are negatives. But you look at the positives. He set a Giants regular season percentage record for completion rate, 67.2%. Hey, that shows you he's accurate. Plus, what JT forgets is, because he'll say this about other quarterbacks and then doesn't say about Daniel Jones, he is a dual threat quarterback. He's only the fourth quarterback in NFL history, JT, to have at least in one season 3,200 passing yards, 65+% completion percentage, and then 700 or more rushing yards. Only the fourth in NFL history. And when you look at the going rate,
have you ever asked yourself why there's so few of those? It's because they usually don't get those type of opportunities. But go ahead. I didn't knock anything about that, but go ahead.
Okay. And then you look at the going rate, Kyler Murray, $46 million annually, season high in his career, 26 touchdown passes. Daniel Jones, 24 touchdown passes. So when you look at the going rate, he got less than the going rate. So at the end of the day, it was a good financial deal by the Giants. And really, they can end up letting him go after 3 years on that deal. And I think then the dead cap is only like $9 or $10 million anyway. At least you buy some time right now while the market is still decent.
Dwayne Marcus, good move for the Giants or not?
You can always rely on the great JT to provide a gross oversimplification of a situation. Like, you just conveniently forgot.
I should have worn my bulletproof vest tonight because I already see what time it is.
It's because the hat.
You conveniently forgot to mention that Daniel Jones is the quarterback of a Giants team that made to and won a playoff game for the first time in a very long time. That matters. So, like, is Daniel Jones a top 10 quarterback in football right now? No. But, like, in a very crowded NFC where his wide receiver core is not that great, 15 touchdowns, given what he had to throw to. Like, I know we're going to talk about him later on, but we love to talk about how Lamar has nobody to throw the ball to. Who was Daniel Jones throwing the ball to this season? 15 touchdowns with that wide receiver core is not something to sneeze at. That's something worth it. And not to mention, he only had like 5 picks on the season. So he played great football for Daniel Jones standards. I think when you look at the fact they would pay Daniel Jones and keep Saquon Barkley with this team, given the upside for this team, they're still in a disgusting division in the NFC East. That's all confusing outside of the Eagles. Like, they're going to be a playoff team again next year, the more they continue to build. Brian Daboll is a fantastic head coach. This is best case scenario for the New York Giants. And, like, come on now. They weren't going to draft a quarterback. They were going to keep Daniel Jones because they can work with Daniel Jones and make something out of Daniel Jones. You're just – I don't know what's wrong with you, bro. You're just, like, hating on him.
Just listen to what you said. He threw 15 touchdown passes with no weapons. Last time I checked, somebody won an MVP with no weapons, threw 30+ touchdowns, as never throw 15 touchdowns in the season. All I'm saying is I just want you guys to be consistent. If we're going to give Daniel Jones his flowers and talk about, oh, this was such a shrewd move and the Giants are just great GMs and Daniel Jones, like, he's doing so great, he's a great quarterback. Well, guess what? Somebody else later in this show better get all the love. JT, I'm just saying, keep it consistent and keep the scale equal. It is apples to apples. This is as apples to apples as it gets. Like, we're at the table playing the apples to apples game right now. Like, this is literally the same shit. It's the same shit.
Daniel Jones is playing for a New York Giants football team.
Daniel Jones is trash. He's been trash his entire career. You know what? Gloves are off because you guys are acting like
the going rate. You guys are
acting, but it doesn't. He shouldn't even. Guess what? he shouldn't even got this contract. You know, I'm changing my answer. I know the Giants got to do what they got to do. I'm changing my answers. Forget about this. He shouldn't have got the contract because you sucked every year before, and this is your prove it year. I've never seen somebody suck and then don't get it done in their prove it year, and then they get the bag. Like, that's impossible.
Daniel Jones' career. What do you mean?
He's been trash his entire career. Have they not been saying that he is a bust?
The definition of a prove it year is to prove it, and
he didn't prove it.
Yeah,
15 touchdowns is proving it.
What do you mean?
15 touchdowns. Give me
Bert,
Taylor Heineke.
Hold on, Bert. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Did the Giants make the playoffs this year?
They did over 500. Yeah. Look, regardless of personal stats, I understand 15 touchdowns. You still have to respect what he did, and the Don to his stats in itself kind of speak for itself for the team. And this year in his prove it year. And look, I was a Daniel Jones hater through and through, and I even said year over year on this show, maybe with a new coach it'll help. I don't know. I'm still not sold on him. And he started out this season a little bit rocky. First game, DeBall had to pull him aside and say, look, man, if you're not going to get it done, you're going to ride pine. Like, it is what it is. And he got it turned around. Some ups, some downs. We weren't looking for an Aaron Rodgers this year. We were just looking for something better. And guess what? It happened. But now we realize, well, you know what? Let's go with what we know. Like you said, the devil you know is far better than the devil you don't. Let's make the deal. See if we can, tag Saquon, get a deal done there, and see what next year brings. Worst case scenario, in year 3, we buy out. That's fine. Now, you yourself, being, a Miami guy, you're going to sit here and tell me after you trash Daniel Jones that you would rather take Tua over Daniel Jones any day of the week?
I'm gonna tell you what don't play the gunshots for me because they missed. I'm gonna say the same thing that I've been saying. This is why he always calls me a hater. My quarterback isn't it either, and he's looked much better than yours so far in his career when he's on the field. Like, this is the same thing that happened to the Giants is the same thing that I said was going to happen to the Dolphins. He's going to play decent enough to where you're going to be like, is it the answer? Is he not? Let's try it out. And you're going to get fooled. So, hey, look, it's your guy. You were impressed with 15 touchdowns. Let's see what happens. But we know Daniel Jones is Daniel Jones.
You keep bringing up 15 touchdowns like he's out here throwing to Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. He's throwing to Isaiah Hodgins and whoever else is in that wide receiver. Yeah. Like, this is barely a high school varsity football.
I'm not disagreeing with you on this point. All I'm just saying is keep that same energy when it comes time to talk about.
I'm glad you said.
Wait, hold on, because I want to move this along. So I'm going to fight back on JT on 2 points. You are only paid you're only worth what somebody's willing to pay you. Do not hate on Daniel Jones because they offered him. This is my Tobias Harris argument that we've had with basketball. It's not Daniel Jones' fault that they offered him the contract. Like Bert was saying, what was the alternative? Are the Giants able to get any of the top 3 quarterbacks available in the draft? Because the draft class for quarterbacks ain't that great. And we're kind of reaching and talking ourselves into some of these other guys that aren't actually that good either. So what were the Giants supposed to do? This is what the market determines. You have a quarterback that your team is now comfortable with. Now they can focus on offensive line and getting him somebody better than Darius Slayton to throw him the ball, to. Me and Bert have also said this on this show. Trent Dilfer and Aaron Rodgers have the same amount of Super Bowls. There is more than one way to get it done. You don't have to be a GOAT. You don't have to be a top 10 guy. Remember, let's bring it back to the NBA, JT. This is my other, while you were flabbergasting and talking out of your neck. Remember when Mike Conley signed the highest contract in the NBA in history? Because I don't. You know why? Because the shit always averages out. Daniel Jones is getting an average contract, and it's gonna help the team now. And in 5 years or 4 years or however long the contract is, it's going to be an average ass contract because the money's going to keep going up. Which brings us to Lamar Jackson. Reportedly wants $230 million guaranteed because he thinks teams are as stupid as the Cleveland Browns are, because he saw what Deshaun Watson got, and now that's what he wants. The Baltimore Ravens smartly are refusing to give him anywhere near $230 million because guess what? They're not the Cleveland Browns. They're not stupid. They also know, and all the other owners know, that if you give this to Lamar Jackson, this will open up all types of floodgates. So I will go backwards now. Dwayne Marcus, Lamar Jackson. Why is he not signed, and will he be traded?
He's not signed because he's asking for a contract that no one's going to give him. Like, this is not. I've seen people say that Lamar Jackson's being. People are saying like this is a race thing. Like, that's such low hanging fruit, and it's so lazy. It's ridiculous. Like, we're talking about a guy in Lamar Jackson. Like, I get it. You want to run down all the things he's done since he's been in the league. I get it. He's in his prime. Like, here's the deal. Lamar Jackson wants $230 million guaranteed. The only team that's going to give him that is the Cleveland Browns. And unfortunately for Lamar Jackson, they've already given out a $230 million guaranteed contract to someone who didn't deserve it. Like, that is not the norm. That's a very, very, very gross outlier. No competent franchise, no franchise that doesn't reek of desperation the way that the Cleveland Browns do would ever look at a guy like Deshaun Watson, who hadn't played football in a year and a half and spent half of that year and a half not being able to keep his hands to himself, thusly being tied up in litigation, say, we're going to pay you $230 million and you're going to have all of it no matter what happens. Nobody's doing that. When you add on to the fact that Lamar Jackson has spent the past couple seasons hurt the back half of the season, like, that does matter. Lamar Jackson's not going to get paid a contract like Deshaun Watson. That's a terrible contract. No one's paying anybody that, ever. Whatever's on the table, he should just take it because no one's going to pay him that. And he should just figure it out. Like, just figure it out. He's not getting $230 million guaranteed. It's not happening. It's just not happening.
Ricky Litt says he's not signed because he can't stay on the field long enough. Lamar Jackson actively nuked the past 2 seasons of Ravens football because he can't stay healthy. It is a nice shirt that I'm wearing. Shout out to Ricky and the Pain Train Pipe Bomb. Thank you for the Beast Mode shirt. It's quite fitting for me. JT,
I think
why
you
is
should
it
go to somebody else before you come to me?
cool? I will go. Right on past you, Don. Sensible one.
I wish you would let him go first so we can hear the rant and then just all jump on him.
No, he's just gonna hate.
Yeah, he's taking the easy way out. So I mean, it's what you said, Germ. He's not getting it because that's what the market is dictating at this point. The value that no one's come up, made a nice offer to him yet. And he's not getting it because the Ravens don't feel that the market will dictate that's how much he should get. And they're making a business decision. And JT, I'll put it out there since he didn't want to talk first. He makes everything personal, right? You go back to Daniel Jones to Kyler Murray. He didn't bring the same energy against Kyler Murray when they signed him then, but he does that with Daniel Jones. So same thing here. He'll take it personal when it's business. You need to go watch The Godfather. You need to go watch New Jack City.
I got your whole list of things you want me to watch so I can understand what you're saying. I get it.
It's business, not personal. And when you look at it, no one's going to be getting $230 million. Not even Patrick Mahomes. He only ended up getting $150 out of that $500 million deal that was guaranteed. Only about $150 million. So Mahomes isn't getting it. Cleveland is Cleveland. So that's why they gave it to Deshaun. And you look at the other business aspect of it. If you're the Ravens, you now told Lamar, go ahead. You want to bet on yourself? No problem. We want you to be here. We love you, but it's a business decision, nothing personal. So we're going to non-exclusive tag you. If you think you're worth that much, great, go get it, because then we can match it. If someone else says you're worth it, we'll match it. We just don't think it's prudent to sign that sort of deal because no one's going to get it. And then on top of that, if we do lose you, we get 2 first-round picks. I mean, it is a win-win for the Ravens, however you look at it. It really is at this point. If he leaves, 2 first-round picks, great. We keep moving on because we've won 2 Super Bowls with Flacco and Trent Dilfer. And then on top of that, if someone gives you a good deal around what we've already offered, we can match it and we still get you for what we offered because you're not going to get $230 million. No one is. Like Josh Allen didn't get it when he re-upped. Burrow's probably not going to get it. So, I mean, it was a good business decision by Baltimore. JT's going to bring his bias in because Lamar's a South Florida guy. He wants Lamar with the Dolphins, and that's all great. But it's not personal, JT. It's business. Ravens have made a good business decision, and that's why they got 2 Super Bowls since 2000.
Now that the picture's becoming clear, JT, Lamar Jackson, both South Florida guys. JT wearing the Ravens hat, caping for Lamar Jackson. Also, Don mentioned Godfather.
Overrated.
Bert, listen.
Yeah.
Why isn't Lamar Jackson signed?
So I'm kind of siding with JT on this one.
He's siding with me, and I haven't even said it yet.
And here's the thing: for me, it's not going to be contradictory of my Daniel Jones argument because that was the best option at the time. For me, there's something there's a disconnect there in someone's camp. And Don, I understand, like from a business logistics standpoint, like, dude, there's no NFL team that's going to give him this money. 230 guaranteed is insane. Even 200 guaranteed, I think, is absolutely insane too. So there's someone on his side, agent, whatever, that's like, yo, you need to, like, there's no one educating him, at least like, obviously from what I can understand, like you should probably take the best deal possible with the Ravens. But I'm always going to side on the player to a certain extent. And in this case, this is, for me, this is a poor showing on the Ravens. It really is. You're going to non-exclusive tag him so you can be like, all right, fine. If you can find something better, go for it. Like, this is your guy. This is the MVP. This is someone that you've stood behind. Now, granted, he hasn't been healthy year over year, so there's risk there. I completely understand it. But it's the disrespect for me. Completely honest with you. He should get paid what he's worth. And if healthy, he's legit through and through. Top 5 quarterback. We know it. Could bring another Super Bowl to Baltimore. And yes, to Don, to your point, they've been smart with underrated quarterbacks before. That's fine. But you have a star here. You should do everything in your power as a good showing of faith to get things done. So there's a disconnect that obviously that's not hitting the public. You got people in the Ravens camp saying we're doing everything possible doing it. But Lamar's still going to go out there and see what else is there. And he may not get anywhere. He may not get what he wants, but he's going to field offers and see where he can go. And one of those places might be South Florida. One of these places might be North Florida. Could be Detroit. Who knows? Who knows where he might end up afterwards? But if the Ravens end up letting him walk and they don't come correct with a really good deal, or even, I mean, they're going to have to match if he gets an offer. But yeah, I mean, I think they're going to be hurting because, I mean, who's behind him?
Bert, do not get my dick hard by telling me that you see a world where Dan Campbell and Lamar Jackson bring a title to Detroit. Let me tell you, I'd be a Detroit. I'd dump all this Buffalo Bills stuff for real. I would be a Detroit fan if that happened.
You've been doing that every week anyway.
Oh yeah, that's because I got money. So
you heard it. You heard he said it here. I don't want to hear anything else about it. That's the money man.
Also, New Jack City.
Properly rated.
Bert, let's go around real quick. Now that we've kind of laid out our thoughts on the Lamar Jackson situation, because I do agree that
excuse me, sir.
Oh no, you forego your.
Oh no. I said one more person.
You know what, go ahead. Defend your
I thought you would go to Don and just come to me. But Don did his whole, B-Rabbit 8 Mile thing where he just said everything I thought I was going to say in my rap battle, and he thought he ate. So, I mean, do you want me to talk about the guy?
Dude, this is why he went second, so he could rebut what I said.
I like this move.
But it's fine. It's fine. You took the easy way out.
I didn't. I just wanted to hear.
No. Exactly.
You wanted to hear the contradictory stuff that you were going to say first.
So you could rebut it.
I knew it was going to come out of your mouth.
You took the easy way out.
You hate everything Ravens because you're a Steelers fan, but you don't wear any gear. Like, I couldn't tell you were a Steelers fan by looking at you, but that's why you hate the Ravens. I get it. So, Germ, I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off. I'm gonna answer the question. So, why Lamar is not signed? It's easy. It's 3 reasons why, in my opinion, he's not signed. And the first is the obvious. You're right. It's the Deshaun Watson contract. And the NFL is collectively agreed that we are going to correct this dumbass mistake that is made by the Browns. And we're not going to give somebody anywhere close to that contract. And it's making it easier that the next guy up that is deserving of that contract is Lamar Jackson, because in the court of public opinion, he's very controversial as far as people don't even think he should be playing quarterback. So this is a win-win for the NFL in that position. That's the first thing. They're correcting the market that the Browns messed up. The second is he is the first quarterback that I can remember that can command this type of money where people aren't comfortable with the way he plays the game. Now, the results, that's a different thing because the man gets it done. The man's got an MVP. The Ravens have been, if not 1 or 2 seed in the AFC when he's healthy. Like, the Ravens are running shit when Lamar plays. But at the end of the day, let's just keep it real. People aren't comfortable with the way he plays. They think he runs too much. They don't think he passes as pretty as Josh Allen does. But guess what? Germ's always telling me it's a results business. The man got an MVP. Show me more results than that. And the third reason why, I'm going to bring this up again for the first time for you guys. Don, I talked about this last summer, and I think you kind of scoffed at me, and I'm going to say it again. A little bit of going on here. This is the real reason I think this is not done, because this is the most dangerous part of this whole Lamar Jackson situation.
It's not.
He has no agent. And I'm sorry. I know agents, they do a good job. But if I'm a top quarterback and I'm up for a big contract, what the hell do I need an agent for? The blueprint is right there. I know who is getting the most. I know who just got the most and the market is reset to. I know they're guaranteed. And I know, based on what we're talking about, where I fall along those lines. So if Lamar can get this deal done without an agent as a top quarterback, why do any quarterbacks going forward need an agent to negotiate? Like, why would Josh Allen need an agent when it's time to do his next contract? Or Joe Burrow, or any of the guys that you think are really good quarterbacks? If Lamar Jackson could get it done just based on he knows the math, it's all out there, and you just negotiate where they feel you fit in the pecking order of quarterbacks, why do you need an agent? Lamar Jackson getting a contract is the death of the NFL agent, and the NFL doesn't want that, because that is the last link between them staying in the NFL and turning into the NBA where the players run. And I know it's not on paper yet to prove it, but that's what this is really about. He is doing this without an agent, and he's worth the money, and they can't give it to him without an agent because it's going to change the way negotiations go going forward.
I know we got a couple brothers from DC because we all heard those police sirens in the background. So, shout out to DC.
My bad.
It ain't no. Hey, listen, I love the authenticity. Now, JT, I agree with I know where you're trying to take us. The problem I have with your argument is that you're using outliers to make your rule. Lamar Jackson does not need an agent. Neither does Josh Allen or Joe Burrow. You know who needs agents? Guys like Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones on his own couldn't get $160 million for 4 years. Lamar Jackson could get whatever he wants to get. Josh Allen and Joe Burrow and these guys who are at the top of the top absolutely don't need an agent because their skills on the field do all the talking for them. What they need is a lawyer to go through the fine print. So I agree with that, and I know he has one of those. But as far as an agent, he knows what he's worth because we all see it every Sunday. He knows he's everything that team has to offer on offense. So no, I think it's more about the guaranteed dollars. That I think you're right with the Deshaun Watson thing. They are trying to stop that before
it gets out of control.
It gets out of control. I'm with you there. I see that, but the Ravens also have a real legitimate concern about the durability of Lamar Jackson. Hey, dog, the last 2 seasons, you have derailed our entire postseason because you can't stay healthy. Sorry, if you're the MVP, don't talk to me about you not having weapons. Don't talk to me about this. They've had good defenses. They've had good teams. Not everybody has super built, thorough teams around them.
But that's the thing I disagree with you about. And me and Don talk about this all the time. The Ravens have not put a good team around Lamar Jackson. This is the first time I've ever seen you draft a quarterback. You got ridiculous value on that rookie contract. He's shown you he can play in this league, and then you just don't do anything. It's like, well, we're going to let you carry us. Like any other quarterback, they're making moves to build around you while you're on that rookie deal after you've already proven that you can play in this league. The Ravens have not done. I feel like the blame that they should get for dropping the ball on this all goes on Lamar, because it's like he's getting hurt because he's having to do too much. Like any other quarterback that's been this proven this early, they'd be trying to build around him, and the Ravens just decided not to do it, and that's what's bitten them in the ass.
Michael Vick agreed to a $100 million contract extension when he was 31 with the Eagles. That was the last time I remember a quarterback getting a little bit of, and a lot of it had to do with his off the field stuff, but Given a 31-year-old running quarterback $100 million extension was kind of wild for the times. But we'll go back real quick around the room now that we've talked all this Lamar stuff out. Bert, where will Lamar Jackson play in 2023?
Oh man, I already said Detroit.
Best guess. Detroit, yeah, buddy.
I mean, look, honestly, I'd like to see him back in Baltimore, but I'll go Tampa Bay.
Don?
Falcons.
JT?
Right back in Baltimore. They made it impossible to get this done.
Dwayne Marcus?
I'd love it if he come to Green Bay, but I'd love it. He'll be in Baltimore. I don't think he'll.
Shannon Sharp said this earlier, and it made perfect sense because I said the same thing before he said it in my head. Things don't just get magically better. You don't marry the girl after you've already had all the fights. You marry her when things are good, and things aren't going to magically get good unless they come up off that $230 million, which they're not going to do. So, I mean, unless he really wants to stay in Baltimore, he's probably going to get traded. And I'm going to say he's going to get traded to Miami. They have what it takes. Actually, Ricky came out of left field. Tennessee, we're going to get to Derrick Henry a little bit later. That actually, I don't know how the money works out. I don't know how that works with, I would assume Baltimore would have to give up more than Lamar simply because he's not under contract and Derrick Henry has monster number. Sign and trades do not exist in the NFL, but I'm sure they could do an equivalent version. But I would want to know how that math. I don't know if that math incorrectly.
Germ, real quick. Let's say like a Tennessee offers. Let's say the cap situation's fine in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
They move on from Tannehill. What if they offer him $200 million guaranteed and he signs that that contract? Does Baltimore match? Because they don't necessarily have to trade him. They're automatically going to get 2 first-round picks from whatever team signs him if they don't match it. So it's not like a team has to give up a lot more than the 2 first-round picks. And in I think in all of our minds, he's worth 2 first-round picks.
100%. The problem, if they were comfortable giving him $200 million guaranteed, they would just give it to him. I think their number is way lower than that. I'm thinking, in the 120s somewhere, like over the course of 6, 7, whatever the years are going to be, 10 years. These guys are getting 13-year contracts extensions now. So, let's say it's 10 years, $120 million guaranteed and $200 million overall, whatever the number is. I don't know how that works, but it's got to be way more than that because Mahomes got $340 million over 13 years. So I don't know if he could ask for that just because Mahomes is so accomplished. Josh Allen's getting $43 million per year. Does Lamar think he deserves more than that? Like I don't know what Lamar wants. He's not there. There's not a lot of information coming out of there. The only consistent information we're getting is that he wants Deshaun Watson guaranteed dollars. So does he want a $240 million contract with 230 guaranteed? I mean, that's a wild contract.
But also he's technically like a free agent, right? He can deal with anybody he wants. So my whole point is,
well, not anymore. Okay.
He has a non-exclusive tag.
Yes,
so he's essentially a free agent in terms of being able to speak with teams. So the thing is, like now the market's going to dictate what he can make. So no longer can he say, okay, I want Deshaun money. I'm only getting 200. I'm not going to sign, because then guess what? He's not only dealing with Baltimore anymore, he's dealing with the whole league. And if 200 is the best offer, what's he going to say? No, and then sit out 2 years? Like at some point he's got to sign. It just depends on what is he comfortable signing. So my whole point is he can still get to a Tennessee by getting a deal close to Deshaun, and Baltimore just saying, I don't want to match. Like it doesn't necessarily need to be a trade anymore.
Deshaun Watson, $230 million guaranteed. Kyler Murray, $189.5 million guaranteed. That's the number. He deserves more than Kyler Murray. That's a stupid thing too. Russell Wilson has $165 million guaranteed. Aaron Rodgers, $150. Josh Allen, $150. Patrick Mahomes, $141.5. So, Murray and Wilson should not be making more guaranteed dollars than Rodgers, Allen, or Mahomes. But, we'll see. All right. It'll be interesting. I'll be very interested to see what happens with him. Dwayne Marcus, Derek Carr signs with the Saints. Shout out to Derek Carr. Big Dick Derek knows that the Raiders wanted to trade him to New Orleans, but he was like, you guys are going to treat me like shit and then you want compensation for me? No. And then he goes and signs with the team that they were going to trade him to anyway. Big dogs moves. I love it. Was that the right move for the Saints, signing Derek Carr?
Yeah, I think the Saints are a good football team. I might be the only person outside of New Orleans that thinks that, but I think the Saints are a good football team. This is an NFC South division that is likely going to be the worst division in football, even with Derek Carr being the quarterback. So, I mean, we're talking about an easy route to the playoffs. This is a team that has weapons offensively. I read earlier that Michael Thomas and the organization are actively working towards some form of extension, I think. I don't know if they should do that because Michael Thomas has spent the better part of the last 3 or 4 seasons not playing football for one reason or another. So I don't know if that'd be a good decision for the Saints to invest in him long term. But that's still a good football team. That is still a team that is, when healthy, I think is one of the better teams, not just in the NFC, but in the NFL. And like the NFC is wide open. Once you get past the Philadelphia Eagles, like how many teams are we looking at legitimately saying this is a team that can make it out of the NFC next season? Not many, if any at all. And I think the Saints with Derek Carr put themselves in a good position to be fighting in that log jam to be the second best team in the conference. They have a good defense, good offense. So I love the move. I'm a Derek Carr fan. I think the move to the Saints was great for them.
JT.
I'll keep this short because I know how much Marcus here hates to hear me talk. So I'll keep it short.
I don't hate to hear you talk. I just hate to hear you say things you know are stupid. There's a difference.
Oh, see, I told you. I got a bullet. I got a bullet with his name on it.
Wow.
No, can I be 50-50 on this? Obviously, like we've talked about this before, and I said he should go to this division. So, I mean, the division sucks. Let's just be honest. So, like, he'll be all right. I just think we're still overrating the Saints because of what Drew Brees and Sean Payton did, and like neither of them are there. Like Alvin Kamara is going to be in jail. Michael Thomas has one ankle. You got Chris Olave. He was good his first year, but we got to see him take that next step. Like that defense is getting older. I thought the Carolina Panthers would have been a better move. Like all the guys are locked up that should be there. I think they got a better defense, a younger defense. I think they have better young offensive weapons. I think the O-lines are comparable. And I think they have, I don't want to say this really, I think they got the better coach. They got your guy, Donnie. They got Frank Reich. And you said he was the coach of the year last year with the Colts. So I think the Panthers situation was way better, but I would have gone to that division either way.
Sports PSP says the fact that Daniel Jones got $40 million per year and he got his deal faster than Lamar is laughable and absurd. Listen,
Speak on that.
You can't compare. You can't slight Daniel Jones because you think Lamar Jackson should have gotten paid more or faster. Lamar Jackson don't play for the Giants. Sorry. Like if Lamar Jackson don't like it, go play in the fucking XFL or the USFL or go somewhere else and get money. It's not Daniel Jones's fault. You know, it's two separate things. You can't slight Daniel Jones because you think, you know, blame Baltimore.
But we're also talking 80 million guaranteed to 240. Like if Daniel Jones got the Deshaun Watson contract, I'd be like, man, Lamar should get 480 million guaranteed. We're talking 80 million guaranteed to 240. They're saying he's a third worth of what Deshaun Watson and what Lamar wants, essentially. And that's probably right. Daniel Jones is probably a third as good as Lamar Jackson. That's it.
But
like, he's not
Daniel
even
Jones,
half as good. That's why he's not getting,
the problem is
$120 million.
The problem is Daniel Jones plays for a franchise that's willing to pay him. That's the thing. It has nothing to do with him or the other. One thing doesn't have anything to do with the other. But back to Derek Carr, Bert, the Saints, good move for them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of with JT. I'm 50-50. I'm indifferent about it. Like, it's not a bad move. It's just one of those where it's like, all right, well, if Michael Thomas does come back, like who else they got? Like, who's he going to throw to? Is he going to be in the same situation he was in Vegas where, hey, we know he's serviceable and could potentially be great, but like, what else are we waiting for? I mean, same thing as the Daniel Jones contract. I think they have an out year 3 too. So it's not terrible. It also helps that the entire division is an absolute dumpster fire. And we know that all you need is a semi good losing record to make it to the playoffs, as the Bucs showed us last year. So I don't hate it, but I'm not a Saints fan, so I'm sure they would have been different about it. Or some of them like it. I've seen mixed reviews going on. So yeah, look, I think it's great. I want to see it. I wanted to see him with a new team in a new environment, and New Orleans could be good for him.
Ricky, we are pro dome here. All professional sports teams should be playing inside. We make too much money now to be playing outside. We have TVs in the refrigerators now, so there's no need to be playing outdoors. Don, Derek Carr to the Saints in a division with Desmond Ridder and Sam Darnold and whoever
and his boy Frank Reich, who he loves.
Lamar's soon to go to Atlanta. Lamar's soon to go to Atlanta. I'm telling you, he's going to Atlanta. So, but no, right now, yeah, this was a really good move by the Saints. They instantly have the best quarterback in the division now until Lamar gets there. And then on top of that, Vegas is even saying their odds, obviously the winners now, the best odds clearly to win the division. And they've got playmakers there. Olave, young guy. Kamara, I think he's still going to play.
I think he's going to jail.
The legal stuff will be put behind him.
He'll be playing with Paul Crew.
Michael Thomas will come back. Still got Taysom Hill. I mean, this is going to be the best defense he's ever had. This O-line is tremendously better than the Raiders. And, only 6-7 years ago, granted, he's going to be 32 this month or like in a few days, but he's still only 32. And we forget how he once had an MVP type season. And if it doesn't work out, hey, after the 2024 season, which is only 2 seasons in, cut him, dead cap 17 mil. You cut him after 2025. He's barely 35. It's $11 million dead cap. And we forget that he actually already had a previous relationship with Dennis Allen, the head coach, when Dennis Allen was with the Raiders. So that is that familiarity that he's got now. And the Saints can buy into that he obviously gets along with them. If he didn't, when they were in Oakland, he wouldn't have signed with the Saints. So I think that whole storm, I don't think we can underrate that defense. So that whole storm, I think this is a really good move for the Saints. And the NFC is getting weaker. I mean, let's face it. If Aaron Rodgers leaves, like all of a sudden the NFC is completely, who
are the quarterbacks? Like Kyler's not coming back. Stafford might move. Like who
49ers,
are the quarterbacks?
Who the 49ers going with? Like it's up in the air. So
it's going to be Jalen Hurts and Dak Prescott, who Jerm hates.
I don't hate Dak Prescott. I just know that he sucks and he's not worth the star on his jersey. ESPN's Diana Rossini says that the Falcons won't pursue Lamar, probably because they don't want to give up 2 firsts and they don't have anything else to give. And they traded. I mean, they got all their picks for Calvin Ridley. Shout out to Calvin Ridley getting reinstated. Jaguars are going to be pretty nice next year. We'll see. Let's see. Dwayne Marcus off of Derek Carr and other quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers said that he was going to go on his darkness retreat. Couldn't even commit to the 4 days that he promised us. Only made it 2. So it's only right that we trust him to say that, hey, it'll be a quick decision. Here we are a month later. No decision has been made on his future. So since you are a resident Packers fan, you're probably sending bouquets of flowers and edible arrangements to Aaron Rodgers' domicile, trying to get him to come back. Is he going to the Jets with Sauce Gardner, or is he going to stay in Green Bay in the publicly owned Green Bay Packers?
The last time I was on this great show, I said that Aaron Rodgers deserves credit for having made the decision every year the past 2 years before the new league year starts. Well, the new league year is in 6 days. Or 7 days? 6 days. 6 days. March 15th is the new league year. And I honestly I don't care. He's probably going to make his announcement next Tuesday on Pat McAfee Tuesday, or Aaron Rodgers on a Pat McAfee show. I don't care. I have officially reached my wit's end with all this. And it's not Aaron's fault. I just want this to be done. Like I don't want to keep turning on Get Up and listening to Mike Greenberg talk about all the different parts of his body he's willing to cut off and sell to get Aaron Rodgers to the Jets. I don't want to keep listening to Jets fans on Twitter and TikTok and Instagram talk about how they're going to win a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. Because there's the thing, whether Aaron Rodgers is a Green Bay Packer next year or whether Aaron Rodgers is a New York Jet next year, whatever shade of green Aaron Rodgers will be wearing next season, that shade of green will be on the couch come February. Like, it's just a proven fact. So it doesn't even matter where he goes. He's not going to be competing for a championship. Like, would I like for Aaron Rodgers to stay in Green Bay? Sure. I would like to see Aaron Rodgers play Green Bay football and not Jordan Love. But like, at this point, I just don't care. I want this to be done. I want it to be over with so that people can stop I've got Commanders fans asking me how I feel about this, and the Commanders suck. Like, I just want this to be done. Wherever he goes, like, happy for him. I'm sure he'll do great things, and he'll continue to go on Pat McAfee show every Tuesday and talk about drugs and his political views, and he'll cement himself as the Kyrie Irving of the NFL, whatever. I just want it to be done so that I can stop hearing about it, and so that I, as a fan, can get some kind of understanding of what we're going to do April 27th come draft night. Like, that's all I really care about at this point. I just want this whole Aaron Rodgers thing to be done. Retire. Just retire. Just go live in whatever acres of land you live in by yourself, because you can't keep hot celebrities because you're just a garbage human being. Just go. Just go away. Just go away.
JT.
I want to offer my condolences. Man. Marcus, you okay? Like, Aaron Rodgers has pushed you to when a woman's fed up levels, and I never thought I'd see you get there.
Mm-hmm.
So you all right? You hanging in there, man?
I don't want it to be done, bro. I'm just so.
You want to be done? You want a divorce so bad, but you still want to stay with him because you love him. Like this is a dark place to be in, man.
I know next Tuesday, Pat McAfee is going to get on the Pat McAfee show, and at 1:00 sharp, he's going to welcome Aaron Rodgers onto the show, and they're going to sit and talk for an hour about nothing. They're going to talk about the Aaron Rodgers book club. AJ Hawk's going to crack jokes. Pat McAfee's going to laugh. They're going to say what 30 times. It's going to be I just want it to be I just want it to be over with. Like, I'm not a Jordan Love fan, but I need this to be over. I need this to be done. I think Jordan Love's a good quarterback, and I think he'll do just fine. I mean, he won't make the playoffs. He probably won't make the playoffs with Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback anyway. I just want this to be done and over with, because I do honestly believe that whether Aaron's the quarterback or whether Jordan Love's the quarterback, I think whoever our quarterback is going to be, I think definitely affects the mindset heading into the draft for sure. And I would like to know who our quarterback is, because I think that maybe Mark Gutekunst and LaFleur and those guys will have a different approach depending on who the quarterback is. So like, that's really what I'm focused on, is figuring out who the quarterback's going to be, so that I can kind of, as a fan, but also like as a person that watches football, kind of piece together what we may or may not do come draft night. But I just need this. You're right. I'm slowly reaching, like, just want it to be done, bro. I just need it to be done, and I need it to be done by March 15th. Because if this goes,
you sound like you in a marriage where you just like. Bro, you at the negotiation table. Like, look, sign this shit. You get this. I get this. You get the car. You that level of done with him?
Yeah, man.
So Dwayne, just because I don't know if you were clear enough. So you're over the Aaron Rodgers situation.
He sound, if he say the right.
What I'm saying is,
I'm get right back in there.
Like, I'm over it to the stand of like, I officially, like, okay, 2 years ago, I really, really cared about Aaron Rodgers coming back, because I thought there was still a chance of us winning a championship, right? And even last season, I still cared to a degree. Now at this point, like, I don't, because whether Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback or not, we're not going to win a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. We're not going to win a Super Bowl with Jordan Love. So like, I don't care. Like, if he's going to get if he's going to step foot on, if he's going to come back to be the quarterback for the Packers one more time, good for him. He gets the farewell tour. They'll probably give him the last game of the season for no reason at home because it's Aaron Rodgers, whatever. If he leaves, great. We got Jordan Love. He'll go rot in New York with I don't even know who's on the team with Garrett,
with Brees Hall.
Okay, all right, enough. All right,
Like,
we got you. We got you.
Bro.
We got you. Don, go ahead.
I mean, what's the question again? Because
I forgot.
I got lost.
I
got lost in Dwayne's
I asked Dwayne
monologue.
Marcus,
That was
Jets
great.
or Packers. He could have just said, "I don't care," and then, but for 5 long, boring minutes, he had to go to therapy. Dwayne Marcus, we get it. Man.
That
You're
man made a
fan.
whole R&B album about Aaron
listen,
Rodgers on the spot.
Man, he hurt you. You're going to be outside on his driveway with a boombox here. We keep letting you go.
I think it is the Jets at this point. Like where there's smoke, there's fire. The Jets want him. He'd be the best QB there since Joe Namath. I know Favre was there for a time, but Favre was obviously past his time there. And they're in trying to win now mode. I mean, I just don't see how it could be anything else. It seemed like he came out of the darkness retreat that he wants to play, and then he's okay going to the Jets. So I told JT this on our last episode. Green Bay should do whatever Aaron Rodgers wants at this point. And it seems like he is okay with going to the Jets. Great. We can finally move on. We can clean our hands, and this looks a lot better than the whole Favre situation where it seems more mutual. He leaves. He goes to the Jets, the other conference. Great. And we already have our young quarterback who doesn't have to worry about having Rodgers on his back anymore. And we can just – it feels so fresh that, hey, he's going to the Jets. Green Bay starts over, new quarterback. And I just don't see how this does not get done at this point. And I think they were already talking compensation. So it seems like Rodgers is on board. Great compensation. They can get close enough. It'll get done. So I think it's the Jets. I mean, I'd be surprised at this point if it's not the Jets.
Bert?
Yeah. After Marcus was practically singing "End of the Road" by Boyz II Men, which is a reference he won't understand because he's 12.
I love that. Oh, it's great.
Okay. All right. Good. We're getting there. Baby steps. So, I mean, look, you would have asked us 3 weeks ago. The options for the Jets were go get Derek Carr or go get Aaron Rodgers. And now that we know Derek Carr is locked up, and now everything rumor mill is swinging that Aaron Rodgers is going to be a Jet. One thing is for certain, and I agree with everything that has been said so far. I'm done with this as well. We know he's not coming back to Green Bay. Can the Jets just make a deal with Green Bay, lock it up, clean it up, and then we'll all move on with our football lives? This is one big drama that we keep reliving, and I'm tired of it. I think the entire football fandom public, unless you're really hurting about Aaron Rodgers leaving Green Bay because you're a Green Bay fan, it's like every relationship Aaron Rodgers has had. I'm assuming all of those women were just exactly like Marcus did right now. Like, I know you say you keep trying, but it's not getting better. Nothing is changing. I'm just done. I'm just done with it. So, yeah, I mean, it's got to be the Jets. And for the love of God, get it done in a week. I'm tired of it. I'm so exhausted.
100%.
I do know that the only thing that's left to be decided is there's a portion of Rodgers' guaranteed salary that they're going to have to figure out whether the Jets are going to pay it or the Packers are going to pay it. I know that also has to be decided before the transaction, but
it may need to be restructured too.
Yeah,
Dwayne, because if they trade him, I think I was telling JT this, if they trade him before like June 15th, it's like 50 some million against the cap. So obviously they need to either wait to trade him because then they can spread. I think it was 40 million. They can spread out the 40 million if they wait to trade him after whatever date that is, or they can he can restructure it now and then they can trade him.
Real quick, if you're the Jets and you have assets to trade, are you going after Aaron? Would you want Aaron Rodgers or Lamar Jackson, Bert? Let's say you got a 2 year window. I don't know, 3 years.
I think I want to go Lamar.
Cool.
Yeah.
Don?
I'm giving up the same compensation for them.
Same compensation. You get your.
It's Lamar. You don't even think twice about it. It's Lamar.
JT, we know you want Lamar. It's crazy. This guy.
I don't know. Marcus's Will Smith, Fresh Prince talking to his dad moment moved me, man.
I feel you. God, man.
Honestly, I would say Aaron Rodgers just because Aaron Rodgers can overcome a bad offensive coordinator.
But you've
more
got
than Lamar can.
you got 2 years max. He could retire after next year. He could go back to the darkness retreat.
He's done it in Green Bay every year. Matt LaFleur is a horrible offensive coordinator because he's
not
the
an
coach, but he's the one calling the play.
Well, what I'm saying is, wouldn't you want Lamar for the longevity if you're giving up the same
The
compensation?
Jets are trying to win in the next 2 years. Like,
But
I think Aaron
with
Rodgers
Lamar,
best
the
shot the way their
window's
team
like
is made.
10. With Lamar,
Yeah,
the
Lamar
window's 10.
Jackson
You
is
rebuild the
12,
defense.
almost
Oh, don't
13
try to
years younger
Lamar
than
Jackson bandwagon. You know what? I'll take Jones. I think Daniel Jones could get it done.
See, this is where he takes it so personal.
It's not personal. I gave my answer. I gave my answer.
You're such a baby. Like,
Personal,
you're not salty. You're
personal
a
is what
baby.
Goat did.
Like, there's a difference
Personal
between
is
being
what Goat
salty
did.
and baby.
Goat just literally answered the Aaron Rodgers question and was like, "Why he don't want me, man?" That's exactly what.
No, I don't care if he wants me or not. I just want it to be done.
Marcus, don't be goaded by him. Like, he's poking the bear down. Let him go. Don't listen to what JT's saying. He makes everything personal with the Lamar Jackson thing.
When it comes to these NFL trade rumors, I'm going to skip Matt Stafford because nobody cares about Matt Stafford.
We care just because you think he's trash and you were proven wrong.
They're not going to. He's either going to retire or he'll re-sign with LA. He's not to trade him to do what? He's not going to go do anything. He got his Super Bowl ring. Good for you. You know, whatever. Derrick Henry, though, far more interesting. Dwayne Marcus. I don't know if you can keep it concise because we're pushing over an hour. Where should King Henry take his crown? Or what would be the best place? I guess I would say.
I don't know. I think just as a personal preference, I'd like to see him in Miami. I think that'd be fun. I don't really know where he would go. I would like to see him in Miami. I think that'd be a fun spot for him. I mean, he's old, so he's not old, but for a running back, he's old. And his yards per carry has dropped the last 2 seasons. A lot of that has to do with injury, but I think it'd be fun to see him in Miami. I think realistically, he'll probably just end up staying in Tennessee unless he himself wants to leave.
JT?
I think the obvious place he should go is Atlanta. Like, there's just too many things that check the box there. Like Arthur Smith, the guy that unleashed him in Tennessee, is the head coach. That's the #1 running team in the league. They're going to run the ball more than anybody. And I felt like the Titans felt a little bit different when Arthur Smith left. And I don't know what it is, but I think getting him back together with him in Atlanta and, you know, the young team they have, the offensive line they have, I think would be a good move. And then, like you guys keep saying, Lamar Jackson's going there. So if you add Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Drake London, Kyle Pitts in that sorry-ass division, that looks a lot different as far as like what that team can do if you start adding those pieces. So if I were Derrick Henry and getting traded, I'm going to the Falcons.
That's why Atlanta should trade for Lamar. I think it's Philly. Philly's the best spot for him as an individual. And it is realistic, believe it or not, because Miles Sanders is leaving via free agency, and for his own career, you now have Boston Scott and Kenneth Gainwell who are going to spell you. So longevity, you'll be able to play longer. You'll be able to play more intense when you are out there because you don't got to worry about carrying the load. You reunite with a bunch of Alabama guys. Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts was once an Alabama guy. And why I say it's realistic, I think it is. I didn't break down all the numbers, but they have $10 million in cap space right now. And I'm sure they can restructure deals and get to whatever that number needs to be, 17, 16 million. But they got 2 first-rounders as well. So not saying that he's a first-round value at this point in his career, but the Eagles do have some draft capital there that they could send to Tennessee if need be. So, listen, they were just in the Super Bowl. If I'm Derrick Henry, I'm trying to get that ring. What's the best place to go? Philadelphia. NFC, Philadelphia.
Answer a lot, but here, talk me off the ledge. If I'm Philly and I have a top 10 draft pick, do I go get Derrick Henry or do I just draft Bijan Robinson?
No, what have I always told you about running backs? Why would you do that at the top 10? If you want to do that at number 30, I can buy that. But I don't, again, unless you think Bijan Robinson is a Jim Brown, a Marshall Faulk, a Barry Sanders. No, Bijan Robinson's measurables are Marshawn Lynch. Marshawn Lynch is not a top 10 back. He's not a top 10 back to be drafted in the NFL draft.
I thought he was good
not.
on the first round.
What's that?
I think Bijan Robinson is special. I think he's all-time special. And I think Philly is looking at like, okay, I get a young guy on a cheaper deal. But Derrick Henry's nice too.
I'm not saying give up a first-round pick for him. Don't get me wrong. But Bijan Robinson at number 10 or 9, whatever their pick. Come on, JT. Like, that's 4 or 5 years max with that guy. When you can go get a corner.
How much longer are you expecting with Derrick Henry? Because he's
been running into brick walls
for like a decade.
If I get 2 years out of Derrick Henry in a Super Bowl, that's worth more than Bijan Robinson because I can go get a corner. I can go get an edge pass rusher. I could go get a left tackle to solidify my line for Jalen Hurts for the next 10 years because that's going to be my quarterback. Bijan Robinson, 5 years, probably done. That's the way it is in the NFL.
I'm getting younger, more explosive talent. Like, I love Derrick Henry, but he's beat up. He's beat up.
And that's going to happen to Bijan Robinson, and you just wasted a top 10 pick. You know the way I feel about running backs. I love them.
I know how you feel, which is why I'm surprised you're making this argument. It's going against everything you do. Like this is the Le'Veon Bell thing all over again. Like, if the guy is old, has tread on his tires, you just take him out the pasture. But now you want to use a first-round pick to go get him? No. This is the DeMarco Murray situation all over again. Like, the Titans got screwed.
Guys, did I say go waste a first-round pick on Derrick Henry? Is that what I said?
I'm shocked you're not going for the younger guy. This goes against everything you stand for.
I'm not taking the younger guy in the top 10. You want to take Bijan Robinson at 30? I'd buy that.
I take him at the top 10. I take him at number 10.
The Bills are going to draft him at 27. Bert, where
perfect spot for him.
Derrick Henry
in a rotation with 4 of the guys.
Yeah, listen, some of the themes that I agree with, obviously everybody else on the show here, is like, look, he's going to want to go someplace where he wants to win. And I think his best possible option is a team in the AFC East, and it's not your Buffalo Bills. I honestly think it is the Dolphins. Look, Mike McDaniel's already come out and said that Tua is our guy, and they're standing behind it, which is why, any type of new quarterback talk in Miami is not going to fly. I don't think we're going to get to Tom Brady, but I mean, he's not coming back to football. He's not. So They're already standing behind Tua. They have a really good receiving core led by Tyreek Hill. I think the one thing they're missing that could help save Tua from injury, hopefully if he makes much smarter football decisions, is a solid back. And I honestly think that's the best possible spot for him.
I've listened to all you guys bloviate and talk about Derrick Henry and try to make sense of things, but if he wants to win, he comes to the Buffalo Bills unbiasedly. I mean, play with Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. Who can stop that offense? The Dolphins, that quarterback weekend at Bernie's, whatever that movie was, they're going to be having him there on a marionette. Who's going to give him the ball? The Cincinnati is the only other place I can think of because their running backs are out there shooting kids, so they're probably going to need a running back here pretty soon. And I mean, the Chiefs, they just brought in somebody recently,
but I think they cut Clyde Edwards-Helaire, right?
Oh, they did. Well, I mean, the money though, like, so I don't know what their money is. I know they dropped. I know they've been shedding some weight, so I don't know if that's like an Odell Beckham thing or is that maybe trying to make a trade for Derrick Henry. Eagles are interesting. You reunite AJ Brown and Derrick Henry. The only thing I can say, let's make fun of the Tennessee Titans for trading Derrick Henry and AJ Brown in back-to-back seasons. That's hilarious. And keep Ryan Tannehill, of all people, as their quarterback, who they're stuck with because his contract's awful and you can't trade him either. So Chicago is, if you're Chicago, would you trade the number 1 overall pick to Tennessee for Derrick Henry and, whatever other picks they have in the future, the 41st? No, really? Okay. So
just for him to get an ankle injury in week 3 and then sit out for the rest of the year, I'll pass.
I mean, you pair, a lot of people are high on Justin Fields. I'm just throwing some teams out there, but for him, if Derrick Henry can't go to the Bills, the Eagles, the Bengals, or the Chiefs in some form or fashion, he's better off just staying where he's at, to be honest. Like, you're not going to go anywhere because he can't carry the load by himself. The Titans already ruined that. So he needs to go somewhere where he can be complimentary. This is the stage of his career where he's the complimentary guy and not the bell cow. He needs to go to a team. The Bills will probably have to give up James Cook, Devin Singletary, but the Bills could also draft somebody in the second round. So
Why not send him to your team who you love? You've been talking about him throughout the show.
Detroit.
Exactly. That's a situation where you're talking about where he doesn't have to carry the load. They have
Detroit
running backs.
Detroit had the number 1 offense in the NFL for a majority of next year. They need to focus on their defense. Their offense, they don't really need a Derrick Henry. Jamal Williams is just DeAndre Swift as the 1-2 combo. Swift was injured most of the year, so I mean they're fine. Like the Bills need Derrick Henry. Our running game, like the Bengals are probably going to need a Derrick Henry. The Chiefs are probably going to need a Derrick Henry.
And the great thing, Germ, if you could land him, is just that possibility of the RPOs now with Josh Allen. Like they've got to really respect the handoff to Derrick Henry, because if he's one-on-one with even a linebacker at this point, like it's over, right? Yeah. So they've got to respect that out of the RPO, because Allen can pull and run or pull it and pass. And man, that would be something. If
so Philly or the Bills, which one are you going with? Because you sound like you're jumping over to that side.
No, I'm sticking with if I'm Derrick Henry, I'm going to the Eagles, because I don't want to have to deal with the AFC with Cincinnati, Kansas City. You know, people think the Chargers, your Jaguars are on the way up. Hey, Dolphins aren't bad.
So nice
Jets might land Aaron Rodgers, and you still have Baltimore and Pittsburgh in the AFC North. So I'd be going NFC. Philly just got there. Like, I'd put them over the top. If I'm Derrick Henry, that's the way I would be thinking if I'm him.
Before we get out of here, we're going to play a quick round of fair or foul. Dwayne Marcus, rapid fire. Fair or foul. Just like
the emotions are out. You got it. The emotions are out. We're good.
Bert, we'll start with you. John Morant was seen toting guns on Instagram, living that fake thug life that he loves to portray. Ever since that little TikTok came out with the 8 Mile stuff, he's been going out of his way to act like a thug. John Morant deserved longer than a 2-game suspension for all his antics. Fair or foul?
Foul. Nah, he got ahead of it. And did they impose an actual suspension? I thought it was just his own.
Yeah. No, well, the NBA imposed a 2-game suspension, and then he's staying away on his own for like another 4 games.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I think
for now,
fine. Yeah,
cool. Don,
foul, just because they need time to investigate the gun issue. Because if he had it and it's his, and he took it on the road trip, that's a big no-no in NBA policy. Like, you can't bring it on a team plane. So that's why I would just say foul, so they can do the proper investigation. I'd imagine it was going to take more than 3 or 4 days, which is, covers 2 games. So it probably should have been more, or should be more.
JT?
Fair. Just like he said, they know he brought a gun on the team plane. That's automatic 50 games right there. He had the incident with the Pacers, with the laser. Now he's in the club with a gun on IG Live. Yeah, there's just too much bullshit going on. Fair.
Dwayne?
I agree with Don.
Oh, he's keeping it real short. He told you what's up, Jerm.
I know that shit, guy. It's always a 2-on-1 with these guys.
Fair. He should be, because of what JT said. They know he had a gun. Allen Iverson got more games for a dress code violation. The NBA, the gun situation is bad. It's not just this situation, it's everything. They need to send a strong message. Gilbert Arenas ended his career over some gun shit. So they need to take this seriously. They have video evidence. Like, he deserves a longer suspension. Dwayne Marcus, back to you. JJ Redick was right to call out ESPN for Kendrick Perkins insinuating that the NBA MVP voting has racial bias.
Fair. One thing I've learned from the great Jerm Edwards is that we always live by the truth, and Kendrick Perkins just said that just for some clicks. That's the most factual, ungrounded narrative pushed by the MVP I've ever heard. Fair.
JT?
Fair. Just because Jokic is that guy.
Oh my God. Don?
I'm going to pass. I must admit, I didn't see the comment. I didn't see what JJ said. I didn't see what Kendrick Perkins said.
Kendrick Perkins on First Take said that Jokic is the only reason Jokic keeps getting top votes in MVP is because all of the MVP voters are white. And he said that on First Take on TV. Even though all the past 8 of the past 10 MVPs have been black, but he's using.
But there's a difference. How those guys didn't win back-to-back to potentially back a third time, right? Like, I'm not going to say Kendrick Perkins is wrong here. Like, I'm not disagreeing. Like, there may be some undertones to it just because, let's say it was your guy Embiid. You think he wins 3 in a row?
I think he should have won last year. And I think Jokic has a better case this year for being MVP than he did last year. I'll say
But
that.
I'm just saying, forget comparing Embiid and Jokic. All I'm saying is if Embiid was doing what Jokic is doing and he's potentially up for a third one, and Embiid is obviously not white, you think he would have such a clear shot the way Jokic is right now? I mean, I don't know. I think Perkins might be onto something there.
Maybe. Bert?
You're asking the wrong question to the wrong guy. I'm not a basketball guy, so I couldn't tell you MVP of the last 4 years. It makes no difference. I know 2 of them now, so yeah, it makes no difference to me. But I saw the clip. I didn't look more into it, and I was just like, oh, okay, JJ's mad. Okay,
yeah. But it's nice because I do feel like in sports specifically, not only just in life, that the white man does get unfairly attacked on certain things, and this was one of them. And the fact that a white man was able to stand up on TV without being accused of being racist or anything like that, sometimes, and JJ Redick is a smart guy, so I don't agree with him. Some of his stances are a little too personal when he makes his arguments, but in this case, I think Kendrick Perkins was talking out of his ass like he usually does, but that's his job. He's not, I don't know. But Bert, back to you. Jalen Hurts next year will be a top 3 quarterback in the NFL.
Oh, fair.
Don.
I'll go fair.
Oh shit. JT.
I go foul. No way he's above Burrow, Josh Allen, and Patrick Mahomes.
Dwayne Marcus.
I hate agreeing with JT. It's the one time a year JT's right. I agree.
Oh no.
You keep saying that, but that clock is never broken, bro.
I don't.
Hey, Germ. Remember what?
So,
Marcus, I got to jump in real quick. Germ, remember what JT just said? He put Josh Allen in the top 3.
Oh, so Josh Allen is the GOAT. There's just no way around that. Josh Allen can do no wrong.
So overrated.
He is amazing. Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the NFL. We can never say anything bad about him. You shut your mouth. You never say anything negative about Josh Allen ever. He is the GOAT. Remember that.
You take things so personal.
Josh Allen is the GOAT. I'm about to go get me a jersey. Let me finish my order.
Germ got one hanging up for you.
Yeah, I do. Now this is a basketball one, so I'll skip Bert because Bert, this applies to you too. Fred VanVleet from the Raptors was fined $30,000 for comments about the NBA officiating on Wednesday night. Scott Foster cost them the game because he always costs the Raptors everything. But should the referees be forced to do post-game interviews?
Absolutely. We've talked about this too, not just post-game interviews, but there should be like post-game scorecards, what you got right, what you didn't get right, and they should be made public. I mean, look, the public's always going to police you. So, I mean, why not publicly shame them to do their job better? It's already happening. There's just no repercussions for it.
Done.
No, they should not be forced to. I think there should be the report card, but no, just because this is the reason why I say no, because of the gambling aspect. Like, I think it could be a security threat if he says the wrong thing or seems to favor a team. Now the integrity of the game is at hand. Is it a security issue? Like, we're walking a fine line now that gambling is legal. That's why I would say no. You asked me 5 years ago, I would say, heck yeah, they should. But I do like what Bert said with the card. I just don't know about those post-game things just because of security purposes with gambling nowadays.
JT?
Ain't nobody trying to hear all that. Fair. Put their ass on the podium just like you do everybody else. Like, if I gotta talk about the mistakes I made and you can bait me with all these bullshit questions, get your ass up there too, because you messing up your job as well. I want to know what you were thinking at this moment, what you saw.
Then Adam
Silver up there.
Then Adam Silver should have a nightly wrap-up show press.
Nah, we're not doing this in some side alley somewhere where it's like
to answer. He needs to answer.
Put him on Front Street. Put him on Front Street. Because guess what? They'll do their jobs better next time. Put them on Front Street.
They're going to get paid more
behind the side shit. Put them on Front Street.
Paid more by the bookie to fix games. What Jerm just asked about the 2-game suspension. Put Adam Silver on a nightly podium every night to answer those type of questions.
So
Why
he
didn't
can
get
lie to
more than
me.
2
I
games?
want to look the devil in his eyes and ask him the questions. I want to see what he has to say.
Bro, you don't
in
even
the
care.
moment.
You don't even care about the game. You just worry about fantasy. Keep worrying.
I know you ain't talking. You just mad because you're not in the playoffs no more. Tush.
I made a fantastic
game last year.
I made a
Barely.
fantastic run in our playoffs, even though JT didn't give me a chance, and I almost made it. Dwayne Marcus, fair or foul? The refs should be doing post game interviews.
Fair. If you want to crucify LeBron and Luka and all the other guys in the league for why didn't you make this pass? Why did you take the shot? Then refs need to explain why they make dumb, boneheaded calls and kick people out of games for talking to themselves.
You know what they would answer though? Because that's what I saw. I'll go watch the film. They'll give you the
fine.
coach
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah, you know what's going to happen after that? They're going to have the film ready. So here's where you said it was a foul.
No,
Didn't
they're
look he
not.
got fouled, and you were standing right next to him.
No, they're not. Because
Tell
the
me what you
media
saw.
doesn't
That's
do that
exactly
with
what's going to
players.
happen.
No, the media
They're
doesn't do
going
that
to
with
Dean
players and
Blandino the
coaches.
shit out of them.
They don't do that with players and coaches.
I know you want to save your precious gambling, but this is for the purity of the game, bro. We got to get the shit right.
Last one.
It's all about the gambling
Bert.
and the money, bro.
Werther's Originals caramel candies for old people, fair or foul?
Foul. They're for everyone. I love those things.
Don.
Foul, just because I don't want to do where there's originals like that. They are good though. Come on, they're good.
JT.
Yeah, they're like those strawberry candies that nobody knows where they come from. Like they're both for old people.
Those are good though. Dwayne Marcus.
Wow, I had a Werther's original caramel candy today, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Somehow that
We're-
fits you so well. It does. It really does.
He's the oldest 19-year-old I know.
This guy's a 33-year-old, 19-year-old. It's crazy. So impressive that we kept this show under an hour and a half with all this great talent on here. JT and the Don, go ahead and plug yourselves.
Yeah, you can find us at JT and the Don on social media. That's our handle: TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And you can find us on all the major platforms. And obviously on Give Us a Shot network. We try to do that weekly show, a weekly show.
Yes. And you can find Dwayne Marcus pretty soon here. WrestleMania is the kickoff and the debut of Goat Talk with Marcus on the Give Us a Shot network. But until then, you can catch him here with us on Stuff About Sports. And you can find us, JT and the Don, The Divide Live, and our new partners, the High Spot Podcast. So check them out on HSP Podcast or HS Podcast on Instagram. But type in High Spot Podcast on Instagram and you'll find them. They will be joining us pretty soon here. They do MMA, pro wrestling, and a little adult entertainment action. So they'll be a good you can catch them on Sirius XM Radio. And you're going to be able to catch all of us on Fox Sports The Gambler with our brother show, The Divide Live. I believe they're doing a show right now with Foul Territory. That's Todd Frazier and Scott Braun and them. They're recording a show right now. And you can catch them on the MLB Network big time. Look at me, Louie, just dropping names and all these other things. But you can catch all of us on www.giveusashot.network. And we want to give a game ball out to all the women because it's International Women's Month. So every women athlete everywhere, all the women who are doing excellent things. Shout out to you. This month is for you. And you get all the game balls all the time. And lastly, for Bert and his freshly minted franchise quarterback, Daniel Jones.
That's what I'm talking about. That's why he's the MVP. That's why he's the GOAT. The GOAT.
And we will talk to you next week.